Hi Tess and Guido, it was really great meeting you, and following up on our discussion, I'm jumping right into the design, so hopefully we can resolve the layout, and I'll put some other stuff in an email. This is kind of looking at the general building. This is the street over here. This is showing the site, and you can go more about the outside, but I want to walk you inside so you can get a feel for the layout. So coming up the side, the entrance is right here. And when you first come in, there is a water fountain, a drinking fountain to your left, and a little niche. We are required to either have an ADA compliant water fountain or to have a cooler with water bottles that are free of charge to guests. So those are the two options that are required by code. I've chosen to have a water fountain. Let me know if you like that. And then when you come in, you'll see the reception desk across, an area for retail, and a little sitting area lounge opened up to the yoga space. I will get into this more coming back this way, but as you can see, I've really tried to maximize the yoga space, almost full, 3 full bays, and pushed everything else to the rear to where it functions very well, and maximizes that yoga space. We can talk through options over here. Now there are 2 doors. You'll see I've taken the doors off of this for the walkthrough, just so it's easy to navigate through, really. But there are 2 doors. One could be men's, one could be women's. It's up to you which is which. I made them pretty identical mirror images. So I will go through this one first. And this is a vestibule to the changing rooms, locker rooms. And this does take up a decent amount of space, but the reason is for privacy, so you don't look in on people taking showers and changing. So by setting up the doors this way, opposite of each other, with doors on them, obviously, it really reduces the chance of anyone seeing anyone and gives a sense of privacy. So once you walk in, I am showing a bench all along the side with lockers above, and I can show you some images of that appearance. For code, you are required, if you have lockers, to have a bench with a back. And so by putting a bench in with the lockers as the back, that is the most efficient layout. That's what I did at the Aquatic Fitness Center specifically for that reason. Otherwise, you need to have a bench with the back. So that's either a piece of furniture or built in that is at least, I believe, 4 feet wide, if I remember correctly, and then lockers separately, so it takes up more space. So I'm proposing this for an efficient layout. So these are lockers and a bench below that. And then you have floor space, and you'll see over here 1 shower. That is the ADA compliant shower. And then over here is the second shower, and those are 3 foot by 3 foot stalls. That is what's required by code. And if you look in here, this opening is a pocket door, so that way you can lock, close off and lock the shower areas when you want. So that's what I've been able to come up with as an idea. Of course, you can have rope hooks, towel bars, other things in there. And then at the very back is the toilet room or restroom. So you have your sink, place for trash. As long as this is ADA compliant, it's good. Obviously you'll have a mirror. You can either get a standalone sink or something that's built in with cabinetry. This is just to show the layout. And then the toilet on the opposite side. This bathroom is a little bit bigger than it needs to be, but it's how it lays out best, given the columns at the back. If you remember, in the back of the space there are columns, and for the grab bars to comply with ADA, this needs to all be seamless. So as you'll see in the plan, it's just a matter of how that lays out, and it still works. So that is the general change room, locker room, bathroom layout with the 2 showers that are able to be locked and closed off separately, coming through the vestibule. And I will go to the second one real briefly. I'll show you, it's really just a mirror image of the other one. The ADA shower, the bench, the lockers, and bathroom in here. And by having these mirrored, the toilets next to each other, all the water areas along the same line, it will be relatively less expensive to build, because you can have things back to back in a straight line. One thing I do want to say while we're in here is this is just how I have it shown right now, with the top of the lockers and then the wall behind it. We could also build soffit, which is basically having the wall come down to the lockers. The reason I suggest that, and I'll go over the same thing at the entrance, is that when you have a flat surface up top, make sure you dust it. If we had it like this, for example, which is less expensive because you aren't building more, dust collects on those surfaces, and a lot of times people don't go up there and dust them. So something to keep in mind. Either I think we should build soffit, or just make sure you climb up there and dust it. And now we'll go into the reception area. That's the same thing here that I'm talking about. If we did something like that, again, this is just to show the layout. I went ahead and came up with a little design, but this is mainly to show the layout. But if we did a little eave, I'll call it, little area like that, just make sure you would climb up there and dust it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do that. Have a flat, high, horizontal surface, because people just never dust them, and it's bad for air quality. So I'm showing what I consider a minimum reception desk, and this is a 30-inch high and 36-inch wide area that's required by ADA. Someone with a wheelchair can come up. So that lower portion is required, and then this is the transaction top over here, which you'll see a lot of the times, so someone can come up that's standing and use that top surface. And also, if you have a computer screen, you can put it here, and the wires going behind, and people aren't staring at all of that. So that is what I'm showing there. And then just behind there, a doorway into an office. And this is a minimal office. I'd say a desk, a chair, a safe, some bookcases, and that's about it. I did add a window inside there too. And we can go over, if you look at the dimensions, if these sizes work, if we need to make adjustments. And then there's a doorway here, and that leads to what I'll call your back of house space. So I have a stacked washer and dryer, a mop sink that's also required by code, and then an area next to that for brooms and other things like that you'll need, and then this space for storage. And I've also added a window in this space. And then if you go to the back, so this is through the staff area, you have a staff restroom, and this is really sort of the minimum size for an ADA compliant bathroom for the staff. So that gives you a good idea. And then over here, I'm showing another pocket door with a little shower vestibule. That's the door to the outside right now. And this I have as the larger ADA shower. So this is the staff shower, and that's 5 feet wide. There are 2 types of ADA showers. One is 5 feet by 3 feet, which is what I have here, and the other one is 3 feet by 3 feet, which is what I have for all of the rest. So you have the staff lockable shower, staff bathroom, washer dryer for laundry, mop sink, and you have, of course, for the male and female lockers, and also the lockable showers. One thing I should say about the lockers is that I have those as 10 feet wide, those areas. So with double lockers, that's full-size lockers, that's 20 people for each, 20 male, 20 female. Now, what I'm showing here, of course, this is just a placeholder, but retail. And the reason I'm showing retail very intentionally in the middle of the space is that you have to pass by it to do anything. So once you come through the entrance, if you want to go to the reception, you pass by it. If you want to go to the locker rooms, the change rooms, you pass by it. If you want to go do yoga, you pass by it. And that is strategic. It's I'll say a marketing type sales trick. It's the reason you have all those things at the grocery store at the front, so you grab it and you buy it. And also in museums, a lot of times you'll end up in the gift shop before you leave. It's just when you happen to pass through retail, as opposed to it being off to the side or such, you're more likely to buy something. So I'm not sure if you like the idea of this opening up, or if you do want a separate wall that closes off the reception, the lobby space from the yoga space. But what I've shown is having it open up and making it more of one big space, so it bleeds into each other. And then what I'm showing here, and not married to this, just an idea, is again this bench with double stacked lockers, and then I have a soffit little piece above that to highlight the reception area. So the reception desk sort of turns into the bench. I don't know if you like it or not, let me know. And these spaces, it's kind of tight, kind of minimal in here. That was to maximize the yoga space, so let me know dimensionally if you think it's enough space, or if you want this to go bigger. This wall, you can see right here, lines up with the column. So that's this wall, lines up with that column and beam. So it just sticks out for the lockers and the bench. So you have just about 3 full bays. If we did bleed this in to where you would have 2.5, you would have much more of a generous space for the reception and lobby, but then you have less yoga space. The other thing I will say is with the office and the back of house, I'm not sure if that's enough space, if you want that to be bigger, so we could push this wall that way from the office if you wanted, or we could push this whole wall segment out some this way and you have more space, or if you think it's good. So for the yoga space, what I'm showing here is I put this is 6 feet by 10 feet, and I'll verify where the header heights are for sure existing to try to capitalize on that. But I have glass out to this side, just in that one spot, and that window which is existing, so you could use this back wall for presenting, for instructing. And then, as discussed, I've opened up that entire front, and I have mixed thoughts about it, to tell you the truth. I think it looks great, and north, which is where this faces, is ideal for light because you get reflected light. Here the sun goes from east to west, but it travels usually on a southerly path, so that means the sun is going from this side to this side. That's where the most of your heat comes from. So northern light, you have the most light, reflected light, with the least amount of heat gain, so it is ideal. What I am hesitant about is just the user experience, and by that I mean, will the people inside want the people outside to watch them while they're doing yoga, which will likely happen. We could put a reflective film on it, but I think that prevents the purpose of presenting to the street. So it's just a question of if you want that or not. One of the things, I know it's a transitional area, so my hesitation is if you have some homeless people out here, something like that, watching people inside doing yoga, I don't know if people would feel like they're in a fishbowl and be uncomfortable, or if, especially as the area changes, people are okay with it and it's fun and it opens it up. It presents well to the street so people can see what's going on, which is great for business and advertising. But I think that is something I would be grateful for your feedback on, something I was thinking about as far as presenting to the street. Also keep in mind, and privacy for the user, also keep in mind every time we have glass, it adds to the cost significantly. But what I'm showing here, it's 12 feet and 12 feet, using those two entire bays. Then you have the existing front door with that piece up top and the sign outside that's there. So I do think it looks great, it'll present well. My only big hesitation, besides the cost, is if the people inside will want that. Then on this side, I've also used, this is where the existing opening is with that sliding door. And again, I'm showing 12 feet wide by 10 feet high. Part of the reason, you'll see this is 6 feet by 10 feet. I'm trying to use pretty nominal dimensions, so 3 feet, 6 feet, 12 feet, etc. because it can be a little less expensive if they're standard parts. So that's what I've come up with for now, and if you can look over the plan that I'll send as well, and hopefully this gives you a good idea, a good feel, I'll say, for the space. I'll slow down so you can get an idea of scale. So this is 3 feet in between the two. And again, these will have actual doors, one swinging this way, one swinging that way. I'll go back outside, so this is the side of your property. And of course, I haven't modeled the whole front yet as far as the sign and everything else, but I do hope this gives you a good idea. It's a good starting off point so that we can talk more about the layout and then get into the design. And like I said, I'll email more just about feasibility, some of the other items that we discussed. But I can definitely imagine people in here doing yoga, the place being packed, and I think it will function well. It'll be really cool. Thank you.